You're listening to Angel and the Advocate, a podcast with licensed contractor Angel Chavez and California licensed attorney and advocate Amir Afsar.
And we're live after like 2 months.
Yeah, it's been at least I think it's been 7 weeks, and now we're in like our 7th episode of Angel and the Advocate. What's up, Angel? How you doing?
Good.
I'm excited to have this episode because it's time for me to get to ask you a little more questions this time.
Yeah.
For those of you who are not on Angel's social media, my man here threw his own festival. I'll use that term loosely. He kind of threw a house party, depending on how you want to look at it. He had a stage. He had some local talent, a bunch of names I don't know of, just being really honest with you, which is great as far as I'm concerned, because I don't think as a 44-year-old Middle Eastern man living in Indian Wells, I don't know if I'm the heartbeat of the music scene here in the Coachella Valley. But there were not any names that I recognized, but I'm all for that. It looked like you put together a stage. Feel free to tell me where I'm missing things, but let me go first. It looked like you put together a stage. You had some kind of something for people to take a picture, like a 360 photo booth. And then not just that, but it looked like you had something like either spray painted or airbrushed, some like cool desert underground, I think is what you ended up calling it, right?
Yeah.
And so that was like something people could take a picture against. I think that's pretty, you're a smart guy. You always got to have something for people to take a picture with. And then it looked like one stage, right?
Yeah.
And then, elevated platform, like an actual stage. It looked like it had like a three triangles type light setup behind it.
Yeah, it was
Let me start with that. Whose was that? That's not yours. Do you own that?
No, so I knew about this DJ, shout out his DJs de la Raza is like a group of like a few DJs. They usually do Mexican parties, quinces, all weddings, all stuff. And I know his setup has been crazy for years. Like he has like 3 robots, those giant robots. Have you seen those that glow up? Dance?
I know what you're talking about, but not like in person, but go ahead.
He's got all kinds of he just keeps adding to his stuff. And his thing is like, I want to make sure that every event is different. Every event, it's always better.
So you
always
told him, okay, look, I got this stage.
So I told him my idea first. So my idea for the show, I got the idea during Coachella.
Sure.
I was at Coachella on a good one.
For the people who don't know exactly what he's talking about, your idea was there's no actual people from Coachella at Coachella. Let's have like a music event that puts people from Coachella in Coachella, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so that gives them one thing with music, anything you do is like, you can't get people to care or people to even look at it unless you make it cool, unless you make it like an experience. And that's what today is. Restaurants, the food doesn't have to be that good. It almost has to look good on Instagram right now. Like all the restaurants that are popping off. Of course, good food always wins, but if you make it look pretty, people are going to go to your place.
Okay, so I'll jump in. I think if you make it look pretty, people will try it.
Yeah.
But if when you go and taste it, it tastes like dog food, you're not going back.
Yeah,
there.
but I mean, okay. Don't have a restaurant where you can't make good food.
Well,
that's the first.
Well,
there's a lot of good restaurants with good food that don't have social media.
We also all think that we make good food. That's why we open the restaurant. No one goes like, my food's terrible. Try it. You know what I mean? But going back to it. So you had the social media ideas. I mean, that part I get. But you're deep down, your actual root desire was to have local artists have a platform. Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So a lot of these artists, they don't get a chance to perform at many of the clubs. Especially I had 2 artists that were 19 years old.
Okay.
Both of them already have songs with like 100,000. One of them has a song that has 1 million streams on SoundCloud, like organic, no ads, nothing.
Okay.
Then this other kid has like 3 songs with like 100,000 on YouTube. And they can't perform at these clubs, and all their fans.
When you say these clubs, what clubs?
All the 21 and up clubs. So
Like what?
Okay, so for a hip-hop scene, here in the Valley, the hip-hop scene, the only people that let them perform, it's the nightclubs, like the Bart's Lounge, like stuff in Palm Springs.
Okay.
And it's 21 and up. So these 19-year-old kids that have a fan base of kids who graduate from high school, whatever, they're going to COD, they can't even go watch them at the clubs because it's 21 and up.
Okay.
And I had this idea, like, artists, I was thinking, like, they're similar to stand-up comedians. So stand-up comedians, every weekend they're going to like 3-4 clubs and practicing their sets, getting better over time by just performing, bombing, all this stuff. And now it's like, artists has got to be the same thing. Like, you don't get to be a polished artist that's at Coachella. The only reason they're there is because they've performed at so many different events.
Sure. Where
by the time they get to the festival, of course, they're badass. So I'm like, no one gives them a platform. So I'm like, what if we start doing stuff because I have a pretty big backyard, so I was like, I'm gonna open up the doors.
So this was just in your house, your own personal backyard.
That's my backyard.
Okay, now going back to my first question. So the guy that has the triangle stage set up, you just tell him I'm gonna have this. Basically, I'm gonna have this house party. We're gonna call it a festival, but it's basically a party in my house, more or less.
Yeah.
Right?
So the way I pitched it to him, and that I pitched the artist too, was like, content is king.
Hold on, slow down. I'm not worried about the artist. I want to talk about just the stage guy. Just the stage guy, one step at a time.
Okay, so
out there listening right now is someone who thinks A, this was a crazy, stupid idea, or B, thinks I got a crazy, stupid idea of my own. So I want to walk through step by step a little bit more. Right?
Yeah, well, it stands for, it doesn't even matter what, it could have been a comedy
show. Did you
show.
have to cut a check to this guy? This is what I'm asking you.
Well, let me get to the point.
No. This is what matters. This is really what matters, right? At some point, did you have to come out of pocket to pay for things for this event?
Yeah.
Okay, and so that's what I want to get at. Angel was committed enough that he put his own dollars, his own greenbacks, George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, if it's small money, right? It depends on what we're talking about, right? But it could be big money. It could be big faces, blue faces, whatever you want to call them. My point is to say, at some point, you had to put your own money out there, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's wood for the stage or like the stage setup.
That's a lot
paint
of
for the Desert Underground sign or electricity for this all came out of your pocket. This is just your backyard, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, security. Did you have security there?
Yeah.
You had security. Why are you smiling at Brian? Was Brian the security? Was it just you in a different t-shirt? What are we talking about? Just tell me. It's okay. It's already happened. The event's already happened.
No, I had like two 18-year-olds that they were not the best security, but
okay.
I had a facade there for security.
All right, you live and you learn. That's what this is about, right? You're going to learn. Just like the artists
Next
on
one,
the
I
stage,
definitely want to hire real security. But
just like the artists on the stage, they have to have these performances in order to get better at their craft. Your craft, for purposes of our conversation, is throwing the event itself. So you're going to have some bumps and bruises that hopefully you're going to learn from. One of them was security. So the two 18-year-old kids, they enjoyed the show too much probably.
Yeah, I enjoyed the show too much. And
once the show was actually good, they were like, security, I don't need to do this. Like, what's this guy paying me?
You ever seen Project X?
No, I have no idea what that is. All right, bathrooms. If I'm at your event, I need to use the bathroom. Where did I go pee? Did I go in your house?
No, we have 2 outdoor bathrooms that are already like set up. Like,
okay.
With working toilets.
Okay, so it was all set up, the ladies and the men's?
Yeah.
Okay, and
gender neutral.
Was it gender? It was just bathrooms?
It was just bathrooms.
Okay, so how did you keep people from getting their freak nasty on in the bathroom? You had no security.
We trust the community.
Trust the community.
It was invite only.
Air quotes. I saw air quotes. Okay.
A lot of people.
What does that mean? So I
told the artist, invite as many people as you want, but I didn't give out addresses. I didn't put the address in the poster. It was like, you almost have to do the extra step to ask for the address and reach to somebody that's going. So
how many people do you think came through the door?
We had 300 bracelets, and we ran out by like 11:30.
What do you need a bracelet for?
To keep count.
Okay, so like it was
it
was just for fun.
It was for fun, and
it's okay. I mean, you see me smiling.
Yeah.
Part of this is supposed to be fun for you. Yeah. I remember the first days of opening up my law firm. Nobody called me the very first day, and I had a great day of like, look, my computer works, and check out my chairs. I can put my butt in the chair, and it holds me up, right? I mean, that's okay. Part of it's just like making it real. So, but you had 300 people there.
Over 300 in and out throughout the night. Some people left early. Some people came late. So,
some people just showed up for the artists that they care about. Okay. How many artists were there?
So, we had 9 artists.
9 artists. Who was the top headliner? Who was the top?
So, the top headliner, his name's Angel Chavez.
Okay, hold on. Did anybody that wasn't the top person like have a problem with it? Like, hey, why is Angel Chavez at the top? I should be at the top. Did you get any ego?
No, there was no ego. Even some artists, I split the hip hop. So it was 7 hip hop acts.
Okay.
And then there was one corridos tumbados, which is like Mexican with like guitars. Different vibe.
You can't even tell me what the music is in English. You have to bust it in Spanish.
It's called corridos tumbados. I don't know. It's Mexican,
I don't know what that means.
Regional Mexican.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like the genre. So
the people who know what you're talking about know what you're talking about. The rest of the people just assume it's like mariachi music.
Like that, but it's a new style that the people that listen to that style of music are the same crowd that listens to hip hop. And that was my theory behind having him in there because it's a young crowd. They like to party. That's the same crowd.
Okay.
So it blended pretty well.
Were there people that you thought, hey, I'll have them perform, and then you thought, no, maybe it's not a good fit for this?
I had 3 artists drop out. Well, I had 2 artists drop out.
Drop out meaning you invited them and they said they couldn't do it? Or
one of them, he ended up getting COVID, so he dropped out.
Okay.
Which is reasonable. Another one.
Yeah, thanks. Reasonable.
One of them that was one of my main headliners.
Okay.
They were on the original poster and everything, and they canceled the day I posted the poster.
Okay.
I posted the poster, and then like 2 hours later.
Why did they cancel?
Because they were already booked to play a backyard party, and I guess since the people that saw the poster, I don't know the details, but I heard that they added extra hours because they saw them on the poster. They're like, oh, we don't want them to leave or whatever. So I don't know the details, so they're dropping out.
So we should have sued them immediately for dropping out. Why do you always look at Brian? Why is Brian the decision maker? He's the guy that makes the calls.
I just want to see his reaction. I need to have a Brian cam.
Yeah, Brian cam, so you can see him shaking.
Yeah,
his
so
head.
the one and on the poster, I had him as the biggest name too. I made it the biggest font, and they dropped out. It was another Mexican grupo. So.
That's okay though. It's good.
It turned out perfect though.
You shook and you parried and moved
then
on.
The Angel Chavez, who was the headliner, he was added on because the other headliner kind of dropped out.
Okay, so at any moment did you think to yourself, what have I got myself into? This is going to be a disaster.
No, not really. The only problem, I was scared of the cops. That was my only concern.
Like any good party?
Yeah. So I talked to the DJ, and he made sure he put the speakers on the floor, and he kind of put them in an angle where, like, you really couldn't hear if you weren't, like, close to the stage. Like, I had a complaint from people that I had tables with, like, food vendors, like, in the back, so they couldn't really hear the stage that well, which was a good problem because I'm like, I'd rather them complain than the neighbors or whatever complain.
Sure.
So it was a good, and no cops showed up, nothing. We had no problems, no fights, nobody, as far as I know, nothing.
Okay.
Super negative, but I knew with the DJ setup, we could make a lot of the artists like just stand out and motivation to like go hard. Even the crowd too, like it was a little bit hot. It was a little humid. It's middle of July.
Sure.
But overall, yeah, just we had some technical difficulty. We started an hour and a half late.
Okay.
So everything just ended up running a little later than we anticipated.
Okay.
But
no panic.
I was a little, but I understand.
Okay, talk to me about that part. Talk to me about what made it hard. The difficulties.
Well, first it was definitely like the money to pay for everything because.
Okay, what did we come out? I mean, let's get into the nitty gritty here. How much did you come out of pocket with this little pipe dream idea that you had?
I didn't make any.
I know you didn't make any money. How much money did you pay out of pocket? Forget what you got back from tickets or anything like that, or I don't even know if you got tickets or anything. I'm just saying, how much did it cost to like fund this?
So around like 4,000.
Around $4,000. Okay, that's how committed you are to this.
Yeah.
How did you recoup any of that with like a sponsor or?
Yeah, we had some sponsors that helped out just to pay for things, but not enough.
Not enough to cover all of it.
Yeah.
So how much would you end up being net negative after this first experience?
Probably like 3,000.
So you got 1,000 of it you recouped back.
Some of the investment was like painting the container, getting the bathrooms
fixed.
You can use
it again.
up.
I get it.
So that 3,000 includes the bathroom, includes
it's
the
still
container.
money you're not getting back.
Yeah.
It's money that's never gonna, last time I checked, not growing on trees. Might be growing on tile jobs, but not growing on trees, right? Okay, but that's what I'm trying to say. So you had to have some nest egg. You had to have some money saved up to take your shot, right?
Yeah.
Remember, we talked a couple of episodes ago about what I called my, cycle of confidence.
Yeah.
You got to put in the work. So this is why I'm so interested in this, because you had to put in this work. There was no way around it, right? There wasn't some magical genie that dropped off a stage and stage lighting. It didn't just happen on its own. You had to get in touch with people. You actually had a problem with a conflicting date for like your main artist. That's another problem. That's why I'm raising these things, right? Like I said, I know you had a good event. I've seen some of your social media posts, everything. I didn't hear about a fire or a riot or anything, any problems busting out of the city. So that's a good sign, number one. And then the things I have seen you post look pretty good. I mean, a couple of the artists I've seen post some things too. So it looked pretty good as well from those standpoints. But my point going back to is I still think the most important thing here is being able to recognize that you marched right through that little cycle. You did it. You started with like you had to put in the work. So those things, whether it be fixing up the bathroom, whether it be getting the stage, putting together the lineup, having the conflict with the date and the guy drop out, whatever it was, you had to put in that work. You had to do those things, right?
Yeah.
And so then as you did the work, as things started to come together, then when you came into other obstacles, you just overcame them. You're like, well, I've already got the stage. I've already got this other thing painted. I've already got the bathroom set up. This guy's dropping out. Okay, no big deal. I'll put a different artist in there.
Yeah.
I'll get new posters put up, right? And so it's the doing the work creates the confidence so that when other building blocks and stumbling blocks were to appear in your pathway, it's no big deal to jump over them. And now, before we hopped on the microphone, I already know you want to do another one of these, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Like how long? You want to wait a year? How long are you going to wait for the next one?
I think we're gonna wait maybe 2 to 3 months.
2 to 3 months before you can light another $3,000 on fire. That's what you're telling me, because you cost you $3,000 out of pocket, and you can't wait. Hold on, and you can't wait to do it again. I see your smile. Hopefully, the camera's getting that money smile right there, right? But that's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and so why are you so committed and interested in burning another $3,000 to put on a bunch of artists from your local area? Because that's really what this is all about. At the very beginning, I said, "What was this about?" And you said, "Getting local artists, giving them a place locally to be put on."
Yeah.
Right? So why are you putting your own $3,000 behind this, and you're willing to do it again? I'm just interested.
I believe in the music scene here, and it's the same place that hosts the biggest music festival in the world. There's a music scene that's inspired by that, and there's no even the clubs that give them a chance to perform, older artists, like no one even records it. You never see any footage, and like how do you grow? And so how do you grow as an artist these days is like you have to be social media present and you have to make it look good. So again, that was the theory behind the show. I was like, I need to have as much media as possible. So I have this friend who did the highlight that I posted yesterday that everybody was like talking about.
Posted where?
On Instagram and TikTok
Okay.
and YouTube and Twitter. Oh, Twitter not yet. Twitter coming soon. So that's just the highlight of the recap of the event. And then right now I have we're gonna have 9 performances drop. So some of them are 20 minutes, some of them are 30 minutes. I'm dropping the whole performance, 4 different camera angles, drone shots, 360 cameras, all kinds of stuff. We're dropping the full performance on YouTube, and then from those 30 minutes, we're dropping like 30, 40 TikToks from each performer.
All right. So now
Yeah.
you've told me all the things that you've obtained and you're going to share with social media. It didn't answer my question though.
Yeah.
You lost 3.
Well, well, let me get to
No,
it.
you can't. You had a chance.
It's the music movement. You don't just start it by just playing music. You started by content.
Why does it have to be Angel Chavez? Why is this your job? What makes this your problem? Why do you have to solve this?
Because no one else is doing it, and it's an opportunity.
So at the end of the night, how did you feel when the night was over, when everybody went home, when the mics were turned off, the stage was down, maybe just you and your lady, maybe a couple friends that crashed because they had a little bit too much to drink or something like that, right? But just, back down to kind of regular life Angel, right? How did you feel?
It was amazing.
Okay, and why? Why do you think it was so amazing?
Because it's like I love festivals and I want to be around music. Like it gave me that feeling that I get from Coachella, just like all day event. And then they're working the 6 hours filming me, Brian, and my friend Gato from Air Studio. So I was physically exhausted. I didn't even drink anything. I was just drinking water. I was just my arms were cramping because we literally filmed.
Do you think the guys that throw Coachella party hardest at Coachella?
No,
of course not. And I mean, you just got a first row. You just got a front row taste of it. No way. No way they did.
So eventually, like, I still don't know what will come out of this, but like my intention is I want to start something, a music movement, maybe eventually lead to a record label that I want to start. And I think it leads with how do you get people? I want to make sure that every time we throw a show, we get enough people to come, and 2, always record it and make content out of it, because it's content is king. So I plan a documentary that I'm going to enter into a film festival from this event. The YouTube videos, and then of course the 100, 200 TikToks.
So you had every one of those artists sign a release that gives you the right to use their image and their music in your. Yeah, right. See, it's kind of interesting, right? So I could go on for days about legal and liabilities, but that's not what I'm here to do, right? That's not. I haven't been paid to come here and rain on your parade by any means. Instead, I want to highlight the fact that this is just something you wanted to do, and you put your own gusto, your own beliefs, your own money where your mouth is, a number of your owns out there in order to make it happen. So number one, more than anything else, I just want to applaud you, right? I mean, in a private message, I told you I'm proud of you. It's probably a weird thing to hear coming from me, but I'm proud of you for taking your shot, right? I mean, the number one question is, why is it you? Why Angel? And the answer, frankly, if you ask me, is why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Right. And so you see this as something that needs to be done, something that you can help, the music scene. And again, is it something that I'm doing? No, it's not. I got a lot more gray hair than you. Right. It's probably, that sun has set on me, if you will. My, days of being the next DJ Khaled, another one, are probably gone. right? They're probably gone, but that doesn't mean it couldn't happen. Number one, I mean, there's definitely example after example of people making it big in their field when they're old. Like, everybody loves Colonel Sanders. Like, they need to start selling chicken until he was like 60 or something. All right, so look, I get all that stuff, but more importantly, though, it's the fact that you found motivation in yourself and you put, all of your own connections, your own efforts, and your own money, quite frankly, into doing it. Building this law practice is really the same thing. And I believe building any business is really the same thing. It's a matter of you having conviction and a desire to do something and a willingness to put your own efforts, your own money, your own everything behind it and push it towards success. So do I think the very first Desert Underground is going to be the greatest Desert Underground that there is? Of course not. I guarantee you the first piece of chicken that Colonel Sanders sold was not the best one he ever sold, right?
Yeah.
And I can assure you that as much as I think I've been a great lawyer from day one, the earliest of clients definitely got a different experience than the most recent of clients. I know how to do the job better. Right? I know a little bit more about what I'm doing, just like the same way I'm kind of pointing out to the fact that the next event that you want to do, it almost certainly will be smoother in some areas. Of course, there will still be bumps.
Yeah.
But hopefully, like I said earlier, the cycle of confidence is there to kind of lift you up and pick you up and carry you through those things. Is there anything that you will definitely not do at the next one? Like, I learned my lesson. I'm not doing.
The first one would be too many artists.
Too many artists. Okay.
Too many artists.
So you had how many?
I had 9.
And you want to go down to?
I think 6 to 7.
6 or 7. Okay.
Yeah.
And how much time are you giving each artist?
So on this one, I also gave them, not that it just, since we ran out of time, I gave them 20 to 25 minutes.
Okay.
But there was no, since I was recording and I was just in the middle of it, no one really kept time. So some artists went a little bit longer.
Okay. You got to learn to pull the plug, the Coachella style,
basically,
right?
pull the plug. How somebody like ready, And since we were off the schedule, I kind of lost track of time. So
Sure.
it's not a bad thing because they got to do some more songs.
Okay, and then the opposite of that question is something that you're definitely doing every time now, because you definitely, this worked great. We got to do something like this every time.
So definitely having all those photo backdrops. So shout out to all the people because they donated their time. So the 360 photo booth, she just bought that 360 photo booth and she hit up the DJs like, oh, I have an event. Is there any event coming up? Is there any event coming up so I could showcase my 360 camera? Then he's like, yeah, well, he hit me up. He's like, you want to have a free photo booth? I'm like, hell yeah. So 360, just create content there. And then Stella creates, Monica, she does like party decorations for like events, weddings, all that stuff. And she, I met her at the Ferrari shoot. I did a Ferrari shoot for the local Ferrari dealership, and she did the whole backdrop setup. Okay. I helped her. Me and Brian went to do an event for her with like a bachelorette theme party like setup. So she wants to promote that. We did that for free, and then she helped us do all the stage stuff, the Coachella Underground with the names, and she had like cool like decorations. She went all out. She had a cool Coachella sign. I don't know if you saw, it was a Coachella sign on the floor, and she hooked it up with that. And then the DJ, of course, he donated most of his time, and with the vision that I had, I told him like, I need to make this event look super sick. And he did the stage at the fairgrounds, the fair that just happened in February. He did the stage for the artists the 2 weekends. So I know he had like all the setup. So I told him, hey, let's do something. I didn't want it to be that crazy, but he's like, I've always wanted to do these triangles. Like, I'm gonna try it out because I've never done it. So I'm like, okay, let's do it. He's like, and then he says on the next one, he's like, I could bring a bigger triangle and make it 4 and do all this and that. And I was like, I don't know. We'll talk about that later. But the next one, definitely I have to pay. I want to pay everybody. This is just like everybody kind of donated in the first one to make the event as cool as possible. Like I said, it was I called it a content farm. Okay. Pictures here, content here, and the content we're working on right now that we're going to drop. So that's my theory, is it has to be content first, music first, and then content like A1 or 1A, 1B type scenario. And then, of course, making it fun. Everyone that I talked to had a good time. A lot of people were like, wow, I didn't know it was going to be this good, or I didn't advertise it. I didn't tell anybody that the stage was going to be professional. I didn't tell anybody anything because I didn't want the party to get too big. I was like, private invite only. Even the artists didn't know how good the stage was going to be. I just kind of vaguely told them. And then I had them do a practice session. So every Tuesday, what I'm keeping up with like more artists, I'm having to do a practice session every Tuesday. And then on Wednesdays, I started a new podcast, which is part of my podcast. You know how I've been having a lot of Mexican artists.
I was thinking you need more podcasts in your life, definitely. Another look over to Brian right there. All right, Angel, what's something that you learned from this that you could share, but to somebody that wants to put on something like this, put it on an event or put on something, and they're just, maybe they're a chicken and they haven't been willing to go for it yet. What's a piece of advice you could share out there?
Damn. I say, like, again, make it cool. You have to make an experience first, because anyone could throw a show and you have to document it, like Gary Vee type shit. Document it. If you really want to, if you just want to throw a one-time concert, you don't plan on doing more, then yeah, just do a cool one, invite your favorite bands or whatever and do it. But if you really want to keep doing this or promote other bands or other styles of music or just keep growing, or you don't know what's going to stand out of it, you have to make content.
So what's kind of interesting about your answer, and I'm not going to lie, I set you up for this one, is that you said nothing that's specific to like throwing an actual music festival or a concert or anything like a party at all. Your answer had nothing to do.
Oh,
like,
I don't know.
Literally could be the answer to starting any business
content
of any kind.
It is content.
So do you have video of you putting the stage together? Do you have video of you fixing the bathrooms? Do you have video of you, hiring the 18-year-old security guards? Do you have video of like,
we have some videos of everything.
All right, because that's the content that's not out there yet, right?
Yeah.
The content I've seen is the party, if you will,
Yeah.
right? So that's the content that needs to be out there. Don't forget about that stuff.
That's coming on the documentary and the YouTube.
Okay, got
YouTube
it.
videos.
So you have a plan.
Yeah.
But most importantly, every single word you just said right there, every single word, the advice you give to someone who wants to throw their own party had nothing to do with throwing your own party or festival.
Well,
I don't want to minimize it.
Definitely know the music.
Yeah, but that wasn't your advice. I said you could give any advice you want. You said make it cool. And my argument is I honestly believe that no matter what the business is right now in particular, that's a huge piece of what you have to do. Yeah. If it's a restaurant, it needs to be cool. Like the salt. I mean, think about the salt guy, right?
Yeah.
The salt guy, Salt Bay or whatever, right? He's just putting salt off his arm. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, come on. I don't even want that to touch his arm and then go on my food. It's like disgusting to me. And all of a sudden that like became a thing, and he's charging like I don't even know how much money
or
to
those
slice
gold-plated wings that were super popular.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Any of that stuff. Or these desserts that are all crazy with like a Bloody Mary that has like a whole sandwich and a chicken wing and a all on the top of it, right? Any of that stuff, anything you can do to draw that little level of attention will bring more eyes, and those eyes can be potentially more sales. I think you did a great job with this event. I'm sad I couldn't be there just to totally walk around like I was someone's dad and have all the people be like, who's this guy, right? Or maybe this undercover cop's here or something, right? No, but for real, I'm sad that I wasn't in town just to be able to check it out. I would not have known any of the artists, but I still would have come by just to be like, what the hell's going on? What does this guy think he's doing? I think it's amazing that you did it, that you went for it. Like, you get kudos in that department, number one. Number two, from everything I see, it exceeded everyone's expectations. I haven't heard anybody be like, I was hoping for it to be more or bigger or better. I have not heard that at all. You already said it yourself. No cops, no drama. That's always something to be rooting for in situations like this. And you probably learned your lessons as far as hiring 18-year-olds to be your security. Probably not a good idea, especially now that people know it. But most importantly, though, kudos for going for it. Kudos for shooting the shot. I mean, a lot of people just pass that ball or like, sit on the bench and say, hey, I was on the championship team.
And you tell me in the other podcasts that like, Coachella's not year round. You have to give up on the music. I'm like, nah, Coachella is year round. What do you mean?
It's not about giving up on your music. It's about taking the content that you want to make and developing something out of it. I think you really did that. So I'm giving you kudos for that for sure. Now, what comes next? How can you make it better? How can you make it bigger? How can you make the content even more impressive? There's no this was great. There's no resting on your laurels.
Oh, no,
my clients' cases who closed yesterday, they have nothing to do with the clients' cases that are opening today, and the same thing's going to go for you. But you know what we do? We do have to wrap up the podcast. So I'm going to wrap it up all like this and just say, great job for taking your shot. And if there's people out there that are considering doing anything, you have like you want to open up your own food vendor, you want to open up your own like ice cream shop, you think you make the best cookies. It doesn't even have to be food, right? Maybe you think you can lay tile better than my man Angel here. Whatever it is, the first step is giving yourself a chance, having a belief in yourself and being willing to do it. A second step is having resources. So maybe you got to save up some money. Like my man Angel here, he couldn't have done it without putting some skin in the game, right?
Yeah.
So you got to save up some resources. So there's some steps. There's some steps you have to take before you can get there. It's not like he just, you know what, I'm going to have 9 artists in my house tomorrow night and do it. Like it takes more planning than that. So if you don't have everything set up exactly the way you want right now, just start planning, start doing those baby steps, because you heard it right here. My whole point in having Angel answer my questions today was to show that 99% of his answers had nothing to do with the event he was actually doing. It has to do with that cycle of confidence. And it's the same for everybody. The earlier you start to believe that your little dream can come a reality, the earlier you can start planning for the dream to become a reality. And then once you start planning for it, then the plan becomes real with action. And then when you start taking action, you're like, okay, I've already done this. I've done this. It's actually turning into something. And what's been amazing for me is that you and I have been talking about this event for a little while, not always on the podcast, right? And I've been seeing it kind of come to fruition like this. So it's great from where I sit to have you now be like an example of the other things that I think. So I'm all for there being another one. I don't know if it's going to be in a couple months, 3 months, 6 months, whatever. Whatever works best for you, I'm all for it. Just keep at it. Can it be the next Coachella? Maybe it could be something better than the next Coachella. It's not always about being, I'm not going to lie, I watched the Williams sister movie, the King Richard.
Yeah.
And they asked Serena Williams, this is actually a famous clip that I forgot about. When she was a child, they asked her like, oh, what player do you want to be like when you grow up? And little I don't know, a 9-year-old, maybe Serena Williams was like, I don't want to be like anybody. I want to be the first Serena Williams.
Yeah.
So the main thing I would encourage you is do not get hidden in the shadow of the Monster Festival. The things that you can do, the ways that you can make your event different and unique that you're already doing, that's what's going to make it special. And that's, frankly, that's why you can open another chicken shop. That's why there's still there's Chick-fil-A, there's Raising Cane's, there's KFC. There's still room for chicken. There's Burger King, there's McDonald's, Gastro Grind Burger. You might have seen my homies on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. There was like a quick cameo. If you didn't blink, you might have seen my beautiful mug on there as well. A little self-promotion there, right? But all I'm trying to say is there's room for more burgers. There's room for more chicken sandwiches. Don't tell the chickens. There's room for more of everything, but you have to truly believe in yourself and put yourself. And I think kudos to you. This is my there's some applause for you. I didn't get to be there to do it in person, but applause for you for going for that yourself, right? For going after what you wanted and doing it yourself. Any closing words by you, since that was the longest wrap-up ever?
How was Hawaii?
Hawaii was fantastic. That's our next episode. We'll talk about, I'm not afraid to talk about it. We'll talk about my trip to Hawaii on the next episode of Angel and the Advocate. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for listening to this Angel and the Advocate podcast. If you have any questions, submit them in the comments section below. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode.